I just watched Obsession earlier tonight in the theaters. First time I'd seen anything in the actual movie theater since Barbenheimer. Um, Not many films recently, excluding like One Battle After Another and Sinners. I just happened to miss the boat on those while they were in the theater. But most movies in the last, couple of years haven't really made me want to go and actually see it in the theater itself. That's just me. I don't know. I'm very comfortable watching stuff on my own just because of knowing that people aren't gonna fuck with my experience. People's theater etiquette and with live theater and concerts and movies in general, people's etiquette is just so bad. That's a big part of what turns me off, as well as just like how sad it is to kind of see these places dying. But anyway, the movie was really fantastic. It was one of the first times in a long time where I wanted to be a part of that experience, seeing in theaters, because of how this is one of those few times where the movie does live up to the hype, and it is hyped for good reason, and it does deliver. I really also was happy to give. I'm happy to give my money to these guys because I've seen a lot of their sketches. Probably a bad idea, and I actually watched Milk and Cereal with an ex girlfriend a couple of years ago, and that was an interesting. Yeah, it was the first like movie that I had seen, or anything more serious that they had done, and I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, I've seen these guys stuff. I see their stuff pop up on Instagram and social media pretty often. With their sketch comedy stuff, which I think is like kind of hit or miss for me. Their sketch comedy is got like I think I have to watch more of it to actually get what the vibe is, because it's just very, you know, uh, in a good way, off-putting. But I feel like maybe it's just not my cup of tea. Anyway, I thought Milk and Cereal was a pretty interesting film for only being made for $800, and so I just really am in admiration for Curry Barker and all these people involved for doing something, you know, passionately, or not even passionate, just like wanting to make movies. That guy just likes movies and wants to make movies and wants to do that. And it's great that he had all of that. I relate to this as far as he had like all of these kind of different projects leading up to this, and this felt like a big one for him. And because he had so much experience already making so much shit, it's like he really knew what he was doing. The direction in this movie and the way it's written and directed is so fucking good, and it's great that he has a little cameo in it on the phone at some point, and that's it. It's great that he's more behind the camera than not, and you can tell he had like really a lot of control over that, and it paid off. But the overall vibe of it is just fantastic, and so good at what it wants to be, and so good at being just kind of a straight plot driven horror film. I do have to shout out the two leads. Holy fucking shit! The two leads, the guy that plays Bear and the woman that plays Nikki, are so good. They carry the entire movie, and of course there are other people that kind of are here and there. And there's the guy that's in the sketches with him. I forget the actor's name. I apologize, but the guy that's with him in a lot of those sketches is a side character in the movie, and it's great. And it feels like, but it really feels like the two leads carry this movie entirely. It's like the equivalent of Wolf of Wall Street with DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. Like they just like when specifically a few actors carry the entire movie on their backs. It's really lovely to see that. And these two, I'm not even a fan of Wolf of Wall Street, but I'm a fan of their performance. Like that movie is only mainly worth watching for their performances. Same thing with this movie, as well as that's just on top of how good the plot is and how good the movie actually is in and of itself. But what I mean is every aspect of this movie really is just like, it's just really well done. It's really what the kind of film where everything just fits perfectly together and everything like works exactly as it should, and you can tell that they really wanted, they strived for that, and they achieved that, is what I mean. They really wanted it to be a specific thing. This movie is a very specific type of horror film, and something that, it's lovely how it feels like an older horror movie type of synopsis or plot or whatever, and that's a huge relief to see that, because so many, I don't know, I think horror movies take themselves so seriously, and this movie is so good at being scary and funny at the same time. it's so funny out of nowhere. It's just so like kind of like what I was just saying about their sketch comedy, about like Curry Barker's like specific like taste or his specific style comes through so well, like in full force in this movie. His style is so good as far as like the moments where you're not sure if you should laugh or not, and the moments that are scary or genuinely scary. But like a lot of the funny moments, you're like, I was surprised that I laughed so much throughout this movie, as much as it's a lovely dark comedy / horror thriller flick. But yeah, the two leads are a huge part of that. The guy that plays Bear is so like the main character Bear is just like one of these Mr. Nice guy, like toxic nice kind of guy as far as like and it works so well for the film. Honestly, most other guys would be like, where's this dude's self-respect, or why is this dude like that like you could say, oh, like he's the ultimate simp. It's not really that, even that. It's like more so he is so hung up and fixated on the thought of being with somebody in particular, which is very relatable. Like just for people, not even just for guys. Like everyone has that. I grew up with a lot of that, where I was focused and honed in on like one specific person that I had a crush on, and every other everybody else just didn't exist, kind of thing. Is like how. So I definitely relate to that in a lot of ways. But that toxic, nice kind of person is a really interesting. It makes it's so you have to have that character as the protagonist, or else the movie doesn't work. I mean, like there are so many moments. There's so many moments. Like mild spoiler here, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. Mild spoiler is that like in the very beginning, after he makes the wish for Nikki to love him more than anyone in the fucking world, she literally like buries like finds his cat. His cat dies in the beginning of the movie, basically after it accidentally got into some sleeping pills and overdoses. So he, like the very beginning of the movie, he just walks in and finds his cat dead, and she literally like after he does the thing, she literally like takes the cat out and makes like a memorial kind of thing with the dead cat like in the middle of his kitchen. And he's just so nonchalant about it. He's just like, well, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, it's just one of those things like it's so good, and it's not like its unrealistic aspect of it is so great. The fact that it's not, you're supposed to kind of like accept a lot of these things and be like, oh, right. Like he's just that crazy about it that he just like lets that. So there's so many things that he just like lets it slide somehow until, some real bad shit starts to happen. And it's just so funny. So it has to be that way, or else, like I said, the movie doesn't work. So what I love is how the movie leans in so much. It leans so much into those things and doesn't leave you with any doubts. It doesn't leave you like everything's so deliberately like placed and specific in what it wants to do for the story to progress. So on the other hand, on one hand, you got this the main character that's just like the worst kind of nice guy, and one of the like just lets a lot of shit. Is putting up with a bunch of her shit because he wants to be with her so badly, even though she's being a fucking crazy weird bitch. And on the other side of that, you got Nikki, who is the actress is, oh my god, distinguishing who the character. I think the most important part of the movie is understanding who Nikki is within the first 10 or 15 minutes. Like the way we get to know her in the first 10 or 15 minutes is very, very important to like you get such a good dose. That's where the writing is like, Curry Barker, you really nailed that in the script, man. The screenplay, it is absolutely perfect how well he established the kind of person that she is before he makes the wish and breaks the willow. Which all that stuff, it's just so good. I love classic horror that's just like, yeah, magic and yeah, like all that, like all the fantastical elements of it. It's so fantastic. I love that shit. But yeah, so the before and after with the willow being broken is so important. The most important acting she had to do was in those first 10 or 15 minutes, because without getting an idea of who Nikki is before, I mean, she literally gets offended when he calls her Freaky Nikki as a joke, and Curry Barker was so good at making her very clear, like so, her personality is so she's so wedged into who she is, or she's such a specific kind of woman that after the willow's broken, and you see that crazy, it's absolutely you're genuinely just as scared as he is, or you're genuinely freaked out at the unpredictability of her, of what she does. Like, that's the best part about this movie is you feel that, the whole movie obviously is just, okay, yeah, toxic relationships exaggerated to the umpteenth degree, right? But the best part about that is how relatable that is, how scary people that are unpredictable are. And that's something that I can definitely relate to in a lot of ways. I've been around a lot of people like that I wanted to, again, like, super relatable, as far as, like, I feel like I've been in that position far too many times where I'm just trying to, like, be forgiving with people and just be like, yeah, no, it's okay. Like, you just let a bunch of shit slide and let a bunch of shit, like, act like it's not a big deal, and then you start to feel scared of these people, And yeah, the actress is unbelievable, though. Absolutely, like, I don't necessarily think, as good as this movie is, and as much as as much as this movie is very popular this year and has made a bunch of money, I'd be surprised if it got nominated for any Oscars, and be surprised if it even was looked at as, like, just if it was even taken seriously as a contender at the Oscars, because a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, she should get nominated for this or win an Oscar for this, and while I agree with that, I don't think that these are the kind of movies that, at least that's how it was at one point. Now the Academy Awards are just like, what movies didn't suck this year, right? But that this is the kind of movie that's not. I don't know. It, like, doesn't even need that. Like, I don't know. Like, I think awards for acting and awards for filmmaking or music or anything creative is just silly, because there's so many of the best movies or TV shows or musicians in the world that never get recognized or never win any awards. So that's it's just irrelevant. But anyway, I think that she is absolutely incredible, and I am going to be sitting with her performance. I'm going to be thinking about it's her performance is one of those that doesn't leave with you for a long time. I guarantee I'm going to be thinking about this for the next few days or almost a week, maybe, because of how unsettling she is and how good she is at playing believable crazy. Like, as much as the story isn't really believable, like, it's obviously it's not bound in reality. It's not a part of the reality of our world, at least. It's its own world or whatever. But despite that, she plays it so serious and real, and makes it like, how would this actually be? And honestly, her performance, his too, like, the guy that plays Bear is amazing, but she drives. She is like the absolute, like, powerhouse, like, driving force of it all, because of how much she commits to it. I mean, this chick is like that's the kind of chick that I'm, like, crazy about. Not the character, obviously, but the kind of, like, I'm so into, like, actor. Like, she's such a beautiful actress, such a beautiful woman, and looks absolutely fucking batshit, like, covered in blood, and doing just absolute fucking bonkers shit in this movie. And I admire that so much. I admire it so much when really attractive women are not afraid to look, like, really off-putting and ugly, and like if they're not afraid to look bad in that way. It's just something so admirable about that, and they couldn't have had an actress that wasn't really bringing that. Like, you have to bring so much to a performance like this, because of how over the top it is. And how much that over the top has to still have some sort of, like, ceiling to it. This movie does feel like a lot of, like, pressure cooker kind of thing going on. That by the end of the movie, the third act, like, shit really pops off, and it's amazing. Like, I knew my buddy went into this blind, so I thought that was amazing that he did that. But I had an idea of the movie and what it was. I was curious to see how it would end, though, and the way that it ended was great too. Like, it was just such a well-rounded, it's such a well-rounded flick from start to finish. Yeah, the actors alone, I think I'll be thinking about their performances for a long time. That's what good acting is. It's what good filmmaking is it sticks with you. Like, me and my buddy were, like, really, at least for the first few hours, we kind of got into working on some music and figured out like how to get his stream up at his house and stuff. But we were both, like, very much like, damn, that was intense as fuck. Like the whole movie it's very intense. It's just super fucking like, in the best way, just bonkers as fuck. It's so bonkers, and I loved it. I loved how, like, off the wall, like, no holding back kind of approach that they had for every bit of it. There's this up and down feeling. There's a lot of those scenes are so intimate and can be so quiet and that is so fucking like creepy. It's so good how they used like sound, just sound alone, the silence, and then out of nowhere there'd be a very loud. It's like they use noise as jump scares instead of a visual jump scare. There are a couple of visual jump scares, and the jump scares are great in this. By the way, there are a couple of them, a couple of big ones that are like, whoa, fuck, like out of nowhere. It's just like, holy fucking shit. It's great, but the use of sound as someone, as a musician, as someone like whose sound is obviously something that I, I've done this shit for many years, or worked in sound for many years just for music. But the sound and the loud, sudden loud crashing noises are very loud, like the actress screaming as Nikki, and just like just crazy shit like that happening. It was just a constant roller coaster of quiet, intimate moments that were scary, and then loud, crazy moments that were scary. The whole thing was very just like, it was creepy, very creepy, unsettling and unnerving moments leading up to genuine heart-stopping moments. There are moments that like really make you jolt in your seat, kind of thing. And that's such a relief, because I haven't felt that in a movie in a long time. I haven't been to a horror movie in theaters and so on, and just don't watch horror movies as much as other people. The horror genre is just like that. You're either kind of obsessed with horror, or you just kind of are a casual viewer like myself, and you just kind of watch the good ones, the most popular ones. He was very inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre I was just looking at his wiki a little bit. Curry Barker was inspired when he watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one, at 11 years old, and made him obsessed with following that feeling of being shocked from what I read. I heard he's actually also directing a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as well as like an original movie with a, I don't know if it's Blumhouse again or it's another production company. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I got from it, was the use of the intimate scenes leading up to like the very loud, like jolting moments, and the use of sound. And the one thing I really want to point out in this flick before I forget is the lighting. The lighting is fantastically, it's so good. In the very beginning, when she doesn't like totally like go off the wall at first, like when he did, before I'm sorry to derail again, but he builds her obsessing over him so well. Like in the very beginning, it's such like these subtle moments of her not wanting to be too much for him to it's like these little subtle moments of her being into him that lead to the obsession moments, or the over the top her being crazy about him moments. But at first, in the beginning, she basically shows up at his house and is in his doorway. And the way that the lighting is behind her is very like dim, but then like her entire silhouette is kind of blacked out except for the little bit of light reflecting in her eyes. It almost looked like fake, or almost looked like it was CGI, and maybe that's just how stunningly beautiful the actress is and how gorgeous her eyes are. But I literally felt like blown away at the use of lighting in this, and the use of shadows and just dark lighting, like or lack of lighting, I guess I should say. So that one frame, I won't forget about that specific scene and the way that the lighting was in that, as far as how it was backlighting her, and then the little bit of how it looked in her eyes was so like chef's kiss, absolutely like a lovely vibe that also kind of foreshadowed like we don't really like see who this person is anymore. It was like this beginning of the shadows and the low lighting kind of representing the obscuring who she is, and obscuring like we don't know like exactly what to expect from her. It literally adds like this it's like this literal kind of gray area of what the fuck is going on that he's providing you with in the actual scene itself, and with just a little subtle trick, not trick, but a little subtle decision like that, and that little bit of it really just drives it so far for me, because as I'm watching more movies, or as I'm really wanting to get more into this myself personally, which is why this movie inspired me. Like I want to do the same thing. I want like my YouTube shit or my stuff, my music or anything that I do to succeed well enough to be able to work in movies and be an actor and work in TV and better music productions. Because this is what I want to do as well. Like I would love to fucking meet these guys and talk with Curry Barker and talk about just like the the love of it, the love of creation, you know, and that other guy, that the kid, 20-year-old kid or whatever, that made fucking Backrooms. Very, very inspirational. I'm so happy that these guys are younger than me. I'm so happy. I'm pretty sure that they're younger than me. Curry Barker might be my age or around my age, but I'm pretty sure he's only like, what, 26 or 27. These guys are great. Like, these guys, as far as I rarely feel inspired by people that are younger than me or people that are contemporary in general. So this guy, you know, doing his thing and really going for it to the point of having this amount of success and making a movie that I'm sure he's very proud of and absolutely like. It's how I feel with my album that I just released, you know, hint, or I just released an album myself, and I feel the same way as far as like, you know, that same timeline of making a bunch of things that lead to your potential, not even magnum opus, but your first, you know, very, you know, something a little more well produced and something that's a little bigger and more special. You know, this movie definitely is probably his first larger than life kind of production that he's made. Like this, for better or worse, might be his legacy film. And if he keeps surprising us, hopefully he does keep surprising us, he can add to that. But this is definitely his big break, right? So I'm very inspired by all this, and it's just making me like, we got back and we immediately like started working on music, my buddy and I, and just like wanted to like, it's just making us like I just want to do the same thing, you know? But so back to the movie, yeah, as I'm watching this stuff, or as I'm looking, I love noticing these things more, the use of lighting and the use of, you know, all of it. The more that I watch movies and the more that I make videos and the more that I make, like, I've been in production lately for a lot of music videos that I've been making for my own. My stuff is all in the description, by the way. If you are interested in my stuff, you can just like click on my links in the description. I don't want to fucking take too much time in the video. If you want to check it out, it's there. Just a heads up. But I've been doing more videos myself with a friend of mine as well, who also, he made a feature-length film when he was younger as well, but he's been helping me with some ad campaign stuff, some music video stuff. So what I mean is I've been working so much more on production recently, and just have been for the last few years. And you know, the more you work at it, like filmmaking is, and writing songs, a lot of artistic things, you don't learn unless you do. You will not actually learn how to like make a movie better. And that's my favorite piece of advice that he said in a clip I watched a little while back with Curry Barker. I keep saying his name just so that you know, just so that, you know, because I genuinely think his name should be out there more than it already is, even though he's got like multiple viral things. You all know who I'm talking about, but we'll just keep it Barker is what I'll call him. I saw a clip of Barker saying how, you know, go out and make a bad movie, make a bunch of bad movies. Like, he probably feels that way about everything he's made up until this flick. Like, all that was just kind of like practice for him leading up to this movie where he really knew his shit, really knew what the fuck he was doing. And you can see that. You can really see all of that experience and the culmination of everything that he was working on, kind of, and his, like I said, his style and his specific like these little trademark things that he has, which is just kind of like weird, you know, uncomfortable. He's very good at like making things uncomfortable, which is just, I'm pretty sure that feels like his main MO. But I agree with that. You can't learn unless you do. You cannot become a better songwriter or filmmaker or artist in any way unless you do it. And only unless, and I've been doing this for 20 fucking years. Like, I've been working with a DAW and playing guitar since I was 12 or 13 years old, and I'm 33 now. I've been doing it for 20 years, and only recently do I feel like I have an idea of what the fuck I'm doing, and you know, just have that confidence to do it. But it's great to see. It's great to see this guy, see Barker do his fucking thing, and it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. What else can I say about it? We all know that it was made for only $700. You know, if you know this about this movie, obviously you know that it was made for $750,000 and grossed like hundreds of millions. That's really fucking great. It's great to see that. There are a lot of good full circle moments. I can't really get into the spoilers at the end. You just got to go see it. But there are a lot of really good full circle moments that just fit perfectly at the end. Honestly, it's also a movie where, like, once the end credits scroll, I love when the credits of a movie start and you're still like wanting to see what happens next. Like at the end of the movie, I really would love to see like, oh shit, like what happened after that. And I should never, like, no one should ever see. It's just it's you know, I don't know. They got CRTs in this movie. Like this guy like has such an appreciation for all the same things that I do, just as like a horror nerd. This guy's just a horror movie nerd, and it's, you know, there's a lot of really cool shit going on in the movie, and it's just it's really, you know, over the top in the greatest way possible, like just absolutely the best way possible. And I wish more horror movies were like that and didn't, you know, try to be so serious. I really got to see Weapons too, but that movie, that, you know, I can say the same thing about Zach Cregger. I loved Barbarian, and I love that kind of just make something very like genre strong, you know, make something, if you're gonna make something with the specific genre, go at it like so strongly and just go all out kind of thing, right? Yeah, I don't know, maybe there's not much else to say. Solid acting, solid production, solid writing and directing. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't know if I would say it's like one of my favorite movies of all time, but that's just because I think I've already watched all my favorite movies of all time. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to find a movie that squeezes its way into my top 5 or my top 10 personally. However, that doesn't matter. This movie, as far as contemporary movies, this movie is definitely one of my favorites. Movies after 2020, this movie is easily fucking up there. I don't know any other movies in recent years. Again, I still have to watch more movies from recent years, but I'm still catching up on older shit. David Lynch just passed away recently. I'm just now starting to watch Twin Peaks and all of his other movies. I have Mulholland Drive and I have Blue Velvet on the way, and I'm gonna watch those. I just, you know, I'm still checking off all this shit that I've not really, you know, gotten into. Basically, like for me, we're focusing on music and focusing on a lot of other shit. You know, I don't know, hanging out with people, just other stuff like is always kind of took up most of my time throughout all my life. And I've always watched movies. I've always loved movies and TV shows, but I, a little while back was really watching movies like for like consistently for a minute there. And then sometimes I'll just stop and, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I do. I go in phases kind of thing. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I am either very invested in something or I take a long break from it. And then I'm invested in it for like 2 months straight. And then I take 2 months off. It's just how I roll, I guess. But this movie was really fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Fun. This is a funny horror flick that honestly is like probably the perfect movie to watch with like a group of friends at home. Like it's just like this is like a perfect party horror movie. You wanted to do a movie night with some friends and just watch some really, you know, fresh horror movie that's gonna just give people something to talk about. This is my favorite thing that I could take away from this movie. My favorite thing about art, any art in general, any creative thing is when it gives you so much to talk about. Some reviews I do them in like 15-20 minutes. This one I can see myself talking another 20 minutes about this just because I have a lot to say and I have there was a lot of things that I liked about it. But this is such a solid movie to like watch with a group of people, 5 to 6 people, and then everyone talks about it at dinner afterwards or something. You know, like that's 100% like that, the kind of movie experience that you would have with this movie. So, Obsession, 100% lives up to the hype that you're seeing about it, or, you know, is it worth seeing in theaters? Yes. Is it worth your money? Yes. Is it worth seeing when it's on streaming afterwards? Yes. Should you see it at least once? Is it a bucket list movie? Yes. Is it a bucket list horror movie? Yes. I don't think that if you're living in this century, or in, you know, if you're like at least a lover of movies, I don't think that you should pass up on this. And I think that you're doing yourself a disservice by not giving it your attention, because it's just this is one of the most refreshing original movies that I've seen in a long time that just also happened to be thoroughly entertained. The whole theater was having a fucking blast. This was so fun for all of it. Like, that was such a fun experience and made me honestly want to go to the movies more. And how many movies can make you say that? So definitely check it out. If you do, I'd love to see what you have to say. I'd love to have a talk about it in the comments. I'm always down to have a conversation in the comments. I'm fucking bored. I want to have a reason to be on my phone instead of just scrolling and refreshing apps constantly and doing nothing but refresh and reading bullshit. Like, I love the idea of this channel becoming more successful, or anybody watching my shit, just so I can kind of like interact with people more and have something to do on my phone outside of, you know, mindlessly scrolling bullshit while I'm at work. Like I will always respond. I'll most of the time respond to comments if it's worth responding to and you're not being a dick. I'll always respond, and I'll always like want to try to like instill a conversation, because that's just fun for me. But yeah, if you end up seeing it and you want to have a chat, I'd love to have, you know, maybe spoiler free or whatever, as spoiler free as possible. But that's tough, I guess. I don't know, unless you go on Reddit or something. It's like you can't really get into spoilers anywhere, just because I wouldn't want to ruin the movie for somebody else. But yeah, Obsession is Like, I'm tempted. I don't know. I'm tempted to go see it again while it's still in theaters, or go see it with somebody, just because it'd be great to see like somebody's reaction to it. Or I'll just wait for it to come on streaming. I hope this has a physical release as well. This is 1,000% a movie that I would want to own on 4K, in 4K, or on Blu-ray or whatever. So I hope that there's a physical release of it. If you guys see this, Barker, I need that 4K. I do though, man. If you release a 4K version, please do that so that I can buy it and check it out at home. Oh, one thing before I forget, the only criticism that I have for this movie, I guess, is I don't understand, and maybe I should look this up and see if I should maybe read into it if there, and maybe that'll answer my question. But why was this movie presented in 4:3 aspect ratio? That's, I think, the only thing that's like, I'm not sure why they made that choice. If it was from a budget standpoint, or if that made it easier for them to do this with the budget that they had, that's understandable. If it was a stylistic choice because it's him paying homage to older movies, older horror flicks, which a lot of them people probably saw on like a little, older TV in that square formatting. Or if it's just because he likes the way it looks, that's fine too. But I'm curious to know if there was a reason why it was done in the 4:3, because it's not like it was The Whale, where apparently they did that for The Whale because it made Brendan Fraser's character like take up more space, like on camera, like it being less, less the aspect ratio being square instead of wide. It's like it makes him look like he's taking up more of the screen, So that's an intentional choice with that. Or like Grand Budapest Hotel being kind of a timepiece, and just Wes Anderson loving his, symmetry in that way. Like for other movies I've seen that, or I understand why it's 4:3. The Lighthouse is again because it's trying to be an older style of movie. So this is the only film that I've seen recently, though. I don't know why it was done in 4:3. So that's the only thing I will say about it that has left me feeling like But now I'm gonna look into it, and yeah, if you want to talk about this, or if anybody else saw it and just wants to gush over how much they loved it with me, then you're welcome to. You're always welcome in the comments section here. You're always welcome to speak your mind here, because this is a free space to say whatever you want, so long as you're not a racist, a homophobe, or any sort of bringing any sort of bigoted garbage with your ignorant fucking self over the, if you're not doing that, then we're cool. We're cool. Yeah, Obsession. Fantastic. I think I might be obsessed with it too.